Welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Ikumi. Today we turn our attention to the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. We'll look at some of the internal wranglings in the party, and then we'll look at the state of the nation from the perspective of an opposition like the All Progressives Grand Alliance. My guest is the immediate past chairman of the party, Chief Victor Oye. Chief, welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to see you again. I was just reminiscing on our last conversation, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How time flies.
That's it.
You look so good. You look relaxed. I don't know whether it's you are not going through what we're going through in the country, or you're just resting from after being the national chairman of the party.
Yeah, it was 8 years of horrible experience, you know. And for those who were not in the seat, they would think you were there on a party. But he who wears the shoes knows where the shoes pinch. So since I left office after the successful conduct of our national convention in Oka, on May 31, 2023, I've taken the back seat, literally speaking, you know, and I'm watching events as they unfold in Nigeria.
You just describe your time as horrible.
Generally, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it came off to me as a little shocking to hear you use the word horrible. I'd like to think that it's perhaps because of the your tenure was really fraught with a lot of fighting, in and out of court.
Unnecessary crisis.
Is that why it was horrible too?
Yeah, it was horrible because people distracted you unnecessarily. Those who had no business with the party were just trying to meddle in the affairs of the party. Do you understand? The thing caused so much heat in the party, undeserved heat. And I called on President Buhari at that time to look into this crisis, because what goes around comes around. It must get to everybody. All the political parties in Nigeria are literally in crisis today. And I want to use this opportunity also to call to President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to make sure that he bequeaths to Nigeria a firm political institution. You understand? This idea of people coming from wherever to interfere in the affairs of political parties should not be allowed. And most of these people who try to talk about APGA, for instance, they don't even know anything about APGA. Call them to the table and ask them anything about APGA. They do not know. People are talking about the leadership of APGA, and we are going to court. Do you understand? This matter has gone to Supreme Court. This is the second journey. It's an insult, an onslaught on Nigeria's political system and a judiciary. Big onslaught that the court, as globally acknowledged, recognized as the Supreme Court of Nigeria, gave a judgment. Are you getting me? On October 14, 2021, affirming the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Kano. And the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Kano, threw into the dustbin the judgment of Jigawa, the procured judgment of Jigawa High Court. It dismissed that thing. And they affirmed me as the national chairman of APGA. On the strength of that, we went for an election, and Soludo was elected. 2021, and we're still talking about APGA leadership crisis when I had already left office. So I left office May 31. And on June 6th, the same year. Do you understand?
You know, this issue of the party leadership is something that's generated quite a heated debate. I know you're referring to one chairman. There is another one, which we will talk about. I don't want us to start on that basis. But one of the things you talked about in what I would call your opening statement is calling on President Tinubu to bequeath a strong political system and all that. And then many would ask, is this not what the opposition is supposed to do, to hold the party in power to account such that this thing you're requesting for is actually done? And then most importantly, there are concerns as to what opposition role APGA has played so far, considering the state of the country. And some say that APGA may have forgotten that it is an opposition. In every election, APGA aligns with the party in power. And then you have the PDP and the Labour Party stepping back to play the opposition role. How well is another kettle of fish? But why does APGA not seem to be playing that role of opposition well enough?
Let me talk about my tenure, okay? The time I would have used in playing opposition politics, I used in defending frivolous cases in court. Do you understand what I'm saying? And my people have a proverb. It is only when a woman is happy that she goes to bed with her husband. Do you understand? If she's not happy and you ask her to come to bed, she will tell you she's watching Channel 166. So, darling, let me finish it. Before she comes, you had already slept. But if she's willing to sleep with you, she will prepare the environment for that to happen. Do you understand? So in Nigeria's political system, it's the same thing. If you are happy, you don't play opposition politics. When I'm struggling to retain my seat, you're telling me about opposition politics.
Yeah, but you say it's not just the APGA that has internal wranglings.
I mean, during my time.
I mean, during your time as well, the PDP was going through it. So
not what we're having
the Labour
today.
Party had its own, but
not
yet
what
they
we are having
played.
Today. No, they didn't play any serious. The Nigerian political parties have not played real opposition politics. I'm being very frank with you. They have not played it because they are distracted. They're not organized. They're not united. Do you understand? When you talk about opposition politics, it should be a collective enterprise. It's not played by one political party. Do you understand? All of us should come together and speak with one voice. That's the only way we can make an impact. It's not when PDP is speaking in another way, APGA is speaking. We must come together as opposition and see ourselves as opposition parties. Do you understand? So Nigeria's political institutions are weak. That's just the truth of the matter. They are weak. They have no strong foundations. So they cannot stand. And you cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. So Nigeria's political system is designed in such a way that winner takes it all. Do you understand? Once you are in power, you are the president, you now, every other person matters no longer. But in opposition political parties, opposition voices are heard. They are not stifled. Do you understand? In Nigeria, we don't tolerate other opinions. It must be my own opinion. Do you understand? The Constitution guarantees all Nigerians freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But we are gagged. You cannot speak freely and go scot-free. That is the problem with our environment, our system. So I believe for the opposition political parties in Nigeria to function effectively, you must create an enabling environment for them to do so.
Yeah, I also think that the political parties themselves must also put their houses in order to be able to, put up a united front. Because the internal crisis within your party is something that almost has no end. 8 years you were in the saddle, problems left, right, and center. You're out now. The same leadership tussle continues. And I think I'd like to ask you one question, a recent one, because all fingers now point to the leader of the party, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State. I know that Chief Chekwa Okore recently said that he's trying to destroy the party by refusing to recognize Edozie Njoku as the party's national chairman, even though there's a Supreme Court ruling.
Is that your opinion or the correct opinion? I don't understand. You said it's the Supreme Court that affirmed him.
Yeah, his name is on the INEC website.
That's is INEC Supreme Court?
INEC obeyed the Supreme Court order. INEC explained as well why it obeyed. If you check INEC website, it's written there, Edozie Njoku, in bracket, court order.
Let me now ask you. You're interviewing, but I have to interview you also. How do leadership or political parties emerge? Do you know?
National convention.
Is it by court order?
Was there a convention in Owerri that produced Edozie Njoku?
Are you not a reporter?
I'm asking.
Was there any?
No, I'm asking you. It's your party, isn't it?
I want to see you as an honest man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you talk about opposition,
yes,
it involves both the media and the political parties. It's not only the political parties. Do you understand? You should also contribute to ensure that our nation is solidly built.
Absolutely.
Now, the question I'm asking you, was there any convention that China has monitored in Owerri?
Do we monitor all the conventions?
Definitely.
Absolutely not.
Definitely.
There are conventions we would monitor if we're allowed to monitor.
Okay, now I put it to you that the National Convention of APGA in Awka on May 31 2019. That's where this problem started.
So let me draw your attention to something, and
Yes.
it's to get good clarification.
Yeah.
Because I've followed this leadership tussle. So I'd like you to be as straightforward as possible. Was there a Supreme Court ruling affirming Edozie Njoku as the national chairman when it took out your name? That correction, which made Justice Mary Odili come out of retirement to effect that correction, was that a ruling? Was there a ruling?
There was no ruling.
So what was it?
Nothing. Let me tell you what happened. Because I was the person involved. I have the copy of that judgment. You know, when a case goes to a higher court, usually the higher court does what they call background information. You know, they do background review. They try to review how the case moved from the court A to court B. That was what the Supreme Court was doing. So on page 13, I want you to listen carefully. On page 13 of the Supreme Court judgment of October 14, 2021, on page 13, where they said who the acting national chairman of APGA should be, they put my name, Victoria, instead of Edozie Njoku. Are you getting me now? Because in Jigawa, where this case started, I was not a party. My name shouldn't even have arisen at all. Okay? Now, when they went surreptitiously, when I said they, you know who they are, they went surreptitiously to Jigawa, bringing Kudu, a matter that took place in Okao. They went to Birinin Kudu, instituted a case. They did not involve me as a national chairman of APGA because they knew that once my name appeared, that would be the end of the case. So they tactically and ingeniously removed my name and filed the suit between themselves. Are you getting me now? Judo Keke and Edozie Njoku. These people were political loafers. They never existed as far as APGA is concerned. Okay? Now, they manipulated the what happened in Birinin Kudu and came up with a judgment. And that judgment declared Judo Keke then as the national chairman of APGA. On the strength of that, INEC recognized Chukwumu Umoji. I don't know if you're getting me. They recognized Chukwumu Umoji and published his name as the candidate of APGA for Anambra State. And this thing happened on July 15, 2021. Now, they went behind again to file an appeal to affirm the kangaroo judgment from Jigawa. That one we got whiff of it. And I struggled. I applied to be joined.
In the suit?
In the suit. The Court of Appeal kind of needs wisdom. Found merit in my application and granted it. So I was joined. And immediately my name came in. But that was the end of that case. Then they went to appeal. I didn't appeal the judgment. They appealed it. They went to...
I just want to draw your attention to something because this Supreme Court judgment we're talking about was in March, and it was in March last year.
You're talking about the correction.
Yes, correction. It was in March last year to correct that judgment of 2021.
Not judgment, sleep. You are talking about judgment, sleep.
Okay, to correct that ruling, which produced this sleep.
No, not ruling, sleep.
Because in that judgment, it said that it did not say acting, it said chairman of the party.
Whatever.
So what you said, it said acting chairman.
No. Whatever. That sleep, the judgment of the Supreme Court was very explicit. Did you see the rolled order of the court? They rolled out judgment. They rolled out, I said, one, that my appeal has found merit with the Supreme Court and therefore affirmed. One. Number two, the judgment of Jigawa, the judgment of, Kano Court of Appeal is hereby upheld, which means affirmed. That all applications for joining, including the Edozie Njoku's application to be joined, are hereby dismissed. And an award of 1 million naira
Is this the Supreme Court judgment?
Supreme Court now.
The same 20...
The same Supreme Court.
Is it the 2021 or the 2023?
The same 2021, which they affirmed on March 24, 2023.
So what was this ruling in 2023?
That's what I'm telling you now. The ruling, they said, listen, Justice Garba was clear on that. He said, the correction of this slip does not change anything in the judgment of the Supreme Court delivered on October 14, 2021.
You know, I'm curious. The reason I'm curious is this. I recall that Justice Medugu had found you, an INEC chairman, to be in contempt for not, following through with the Supreme Court order.
Which order?
Affirming Edozie Njoku as the chairman.
That.
But were you found in contempt of court?
No. Which I didn't commit any contempt. Which contempt? What did I commit?
For continuing to parade yourself as chairman as against what the Supreme Court had ruled.
Which a parade? What do you mean by parade?
I'm asking you.
No, the question
were you not found to be in contempt of
Which
court?
Contempt?
Justice Medugu, I'm being specific.
Justice Medugu did
specifically
what?
On the 9th of November last year.
Whatever Justice Medugu did, he was misled. I can tell you, take it to the bank. He was misled. Let me tell you, you know the truth, and it's only the truth that can set you free. This country, if not that I'm a Nigerian, what is happening in this country is enough for somebody to repudiate this country. And be very frank with you, forget politics. How can somebody who does not exist wake up from sleep and you're telling me Madugu, telling me Meduguri? What are you talking about? My leadership of APGA had never been in contention at any time. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Even after the Supreme Court corrected the slip on March 24, 2023, I still went ahead to conduct the national election. Have you forgotten?
The question is why?
Because there was no court that's stopping me from doing that.
Because if the court had said that Edozie Njoku, the Supreme Court's, the slip you're talking
Supreme
about.
Court didn't say that.
You said it here, that the Supreme Court's slip corrected Edozie's name to replace your name.
You're not getting the gist. I said that the Supreme Court corrected the slip when it was reviewing the judgment, when it was reviewing the background information of the Court of Appeal.
Absolutely. Chief Oye,
that's what I'm trying to let you know.
When you were saying that, you said the Supreme Court corrected that slip by replacing your name with that of Edozie Njoku.
Because on
as
that
acting,
listen me, on that
just
page,
1 second, as acting national chairman, I've read this judgment to you to say there's nothing about the judgment that says acting, it says national chairman.
Whatever.
On that basis, no, you can't say whatever.
Let me ask you a
question. On that basis,
let me ask you a
what
question.
is the tenure for a national chairman of your party according to your
4
constitution?
years.
So if as at March, he's been affirmed as national chairman.
Who affirmed who?
We're going back to the same thing again.
Who's going back to? You're trying to affirm.
No, the slip. His name is on INEC's website.
No.
What have you done?
That name is there out of error. Take it to anywhere. That name shouldn't be there.
So what have you done? What have you done? What has your party done to correct it if you say it is wrong?
The case, you see, let me tell you. What happened at Madugu's court was appealed. Okay? Court of Appeal here in Abuja. In their ruling, they affirmed the judgment of Madugu. There was nowhere in that judgment of Madugu where he affirmed Njoku as national chairman of APGA. Nothing like that. That's what I want you to understand. No court in Nigeria, no court anywhere in the world.
INEC said it relied on the Supreme Court judgment that affirmed Edozie, and that is why
INEC I've worked with all along. The same INEC that recognized me as national and worked with me. The same INEC that came to conduct Anambra Convention of APGA in Oka. The same INEC that wrote a letter repudiating and reprimanding Edozie Njoku for interfering in the affairs of INEC, trying to, twist the national chairman of INEC to recognize as national chairman. Is it the same INEC you're talking about today? I hold INEC in high esteem. Whatever they did, in their right conscience, they know it was not proper. Because a national chairman of a party is not recognized by court order. And remember that the Supreme Court has said in in many cases, many judgments, that the affairs of political parties should not be interfered with by any court. They use the word non-justiciable. Courts don't declare the national chairman of political parties.
But it would seem that the Supreme Court recognized that Owerri Convention, which you say never existed.
How could Supreme Court have recognized the Owerri Convention when there was none?
I mean, it's a judgment.
Which
You and I can argue it as much as we want, but there is a judgment
let me tell you,
supporting
let
that.
me tell you, Terry, what you are saying today is similar to a man coming to you and telling you that your wife is no longer your wife. It's the same thing if you are married. The same thing. Do you understand?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
No, let me finish with this. These people know they know what they're doing. They do not exist. I've always said it here. Remember, I was with Njoku in this studio.
But how was this affecting you? But look at how it's affecting your party.
It's not affecting our party.
You have an election coming up.
No.
And I came across a headline that said tension over Soludo's re-election as INEC recognizes Njoku as Njoku-led EXCO as APGA executive.
Let me tell you, all these things people are doing, I laugh at them. I laugh at all of them. I laugh at their foolery. Do you know that tomorrow is unpredictable?
So let me ask you.
No, wait, I'm coming. You know that tomorrow is unpredictable. All these people making noise, do they know what tomorrow will bring? I laugh at them because they're too worldly. They do not know anything about God. They're too engaged in ostentation, worldly affairs, that they tend to forget the consequences of their actions. Let me tell you something. The Bible says in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 to 8, it said, do not be deceived, for nobody can mock God. Whatever a man or woman sows, that he or she shall reap. All these people you see here from beginning to end will reap all they have sown. I'm a prophet of God. They will repeat.
Let me
tell you something. You don't come here and begin to disparage APGA. APGA is a spirit, if they do not know. They are swimming in a shark-infested water. As far as this matter is concerned, I advise them to withdraw.
Well, they seem to be winning. I mean...
Winning where?
Let me ask you a question.
Winning
Chief
where?
Oye, how will Governor Soludo's name appear on the ballot for APGA if INEC only recognizes Edozie Njoku's led EXCO and they go ahead and conduct their primaries and then produce candidates for next election? So it's likely that Governor Chukwuma Soludo may not be on APGA's list for that election.
Postulation, you're postulating.
I'm asking you.
You're not
because
asking me. You've not asked me a question.
No, I'm asking how will his name appear?
You're asking me.
Yes, because he doesn't recognize Edozie
how his name will
Njoku.
appear next year? Next year is in the hubris of his, he's forgot to decide. I'm not talking about next year. Next year we take care of, I'm talking about now. Let me tell you, as far as APGA is concerned, the national chairman of APGA is Lai Ezeokenwa. I'm telling you that, take it to the bank. And the national leader of APGA is Chukwuma Soludo. Let me ask you a question. Maybe it will help you. If the man you are talking about is claiming to be the national chairman of APGA, is it not? And he held the convention in Owerri. Ask him two questions. Who was the national chairman of your party at the time you held the national convention? Who signed your form and submitted your name to INEC? Are you with me now?
So what will your party do to correct it?
We have started the process.
Which is?
We've gone to court. We went to court of appeal.
To appeal a Supreme Court judgment?
No. To appeal the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Do you understand that? And you remember INEC said by court order. We've asked INEC, show us the court order now. Why I'm very happy is that you're an intelligent man and you cover politics. When you came to interview me last time, where did you come to? APGA National Office. Whom did you interview? Was I not the one?
At the time, you had just won at the Supreme Court and I was congratulating you.
And I didn't win in 2022. I won in 2021.
Yes, I was congratulating you for winning.
What happened in 2021?
Absolutely.
Was there any other person? Did you see anybody in that office other than myself?
Who was at the office here? Who is at the head of
Sly is okay one now. How can I build a house and the stranger will come and inhabit it? It can never happen. Remember, there's no political party in Nigeria that has a building, an office of yours in Abuja. I was the first to achieve it. And they will build a 5-story structure in Oka as the regional office. All this is what they are targeting. To go and grab and sell. They don't mean well for APGA, nothing. The real owners of APGA are there. And imposters are parading themselves all over the place, making noise. And let me tell you why I get angry. The courts are listening to them.
But even the founding father of the party thinks that...
Who is the founding father?
Chekwas Okorie.
Founding father of which party?
He is not the founding father?
Where is he? A man that was expelled.
Well, is he the founding
That's
father?
That's history now. The man belongs to history. He was the founding chairman, not founding father.
Let's make some progress now. The biggest concern now is if APGA can put its house in order in good time ahead of the election. I don't know how confident you are going into the election.
I'm very confident.
I don't even know how that is affecting your candidates in the Edo governorship election and the Ondo governorship election.
Let me now ask you, who submitted the name of APGA governorship candidate in Edo?
Who did?
Sly is okay one now. And that man came here and said, it doesn't matter. I have accepted the submission by Sly. It doesn't matter. Let him continue since he has come to me to pay obeisance. This man is talking out of control. He doesn't have anything to offer. There was a convention in Oka on May 31, 2019, attended by the national leader then. Okay? Governor Willie Obiano. And all the leaders of the party were there. By 5 o'clock in the evening, when we had conducted our national, we had that somebody in Owerri, in a hotel in Owerri, Concord Hotel, said they had conducted a national convention. This was a gimmick, do you understand me now? To create unnecessary crisis where there was none. And we have been on that till today. What the court should have done, very simple. I'm surprised that they are calling for the call for adjournments and the rest of it. If you want to resolve APGA crisis today, just call the two parties, existent and non-existent, bring them together, and ask them a simple question. You said you held the national convention in Owerri. You, yes, my lord. Produce the report of your national convention, monitored by INEC. We must have very strong institutions in this country to deal with our perennial problems. Like all these impostors. Look at the Labour Party now. Should there be any crisis in Labour? If there are procedures and those procedures are duly and diligently followed, there shouldn't be any crisis. Once you go to an INEC will tell you, yes, there was a convention in Oka that was not in Owerri. That will be the end of this matter.
I think it's interesting you talk about the Labour Party because when I spoke to you 2 years ago, you ruled out the Labour Party entirely. Are you taking back your words?
I'm not talking about the Labour Party. I talked about the presidential candidate.
Well, you said that if there was, you just mentioned the Labour Party.
Because they're existing now. I'm talking about contemporary issues. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I didn't
bring up... Why are you always going back to 2022?
I did not bring up, because I want to know if your opinion...
You mentioned the Labour Party when you started this interview.
Yeah, has your opinion changed? Has your opinion... Is it not an opposition party?
No, why are you angry that I mentioned Labour Party?
I'm not angry.
You're angry. I see your face. Why are you angry?
I'm drawing your attention to what you said initially about the Labour Party. You had ruled out the Labour Party and its presidential candidate.
No.
And this is our first conversation since after
and what
the election.
I told you, did it not happen?
What happened?
I told you the outcome of that election.
So what exactly did you predict and what is the outcome?
No. I told you that my brother was going nowhere. I told you.
So he went nowhere?
I don't know. You have to answer the question.
He got
now.
6 million votes.
And where are they now?
Over 6 million votes.
No, where are the votes?
I mean, he shocked everyone.
No, I'm asking you now. Where are the votes? What did the votes achieve? Nothing. That's the truth of the matter now. You got 100 million votes. What did you do with it?
Some would say that with since after the 2023 general election, that the Labour Party has sort of solidified its position as one of Nigeria's main opposition parties. and has even overtaken the All Progressives Grand Alliance. I know that before that election, you boasted about the strength and popularity of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. But look at the Labour Party now that you gave no chance. Do you still maintain that?
During that winter, I didn't talk about Labour Party giving them any chance. I was talking about the presidential candidates. I'm talking about the man. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking of as at that time.
Okay, so I ask you now, do you agree with those who believe that the Labour Party has solidified its position as perhaps Nigeria's second opposition party, or if not the
I'm not
main
a member of
opposition
Labour Party. I'm a member of APGA. I can only talk about APGA. Let Labour Party speak for themselves. I don't have any business with Labour Party. I'm an APGA man.
But you agree, but so if you place APGA and the Labour Party, which one do you think is bigger now?
Relatively. I can't say bigger now.
In every sphere.
APGA is bigger now.
In what sense?
In every sense. Let me tell you, you talk about foundation. Remember, APGA had been there since 2002. And Labour Party just started. So by the time they go through what we have gone, let's see if they will still survive. Are you getting me now? So experience is important. You cannot ask me, a 68-year-old man and a 30-year-old man who is more experienced. I should be.
I mean, look at the achievement of a 30-year-old man, as you put it.
I'm not talking about, I mean, experience.
Experience. Our Labour Party. And I'm sticking with the Labour Party because I'm trying to get your attention.
Are you a member of Labour Party?
Absolutely not. I'm trying to get your
attention.
You're
sticking.
Yes, because you were very, very dismissive of Peter Obi and his people.
Why are you bringing Peter Obi now into this matter? Because Peter Obi, let me tell you, Peter Obi is a Nigerian. He has the right to aspire to any political office.
But he will not win.
I've not said that.
You said that 2 years ago.
Today, then this is 2024 now. Let's see.
Are you changing?
No, is there any election? When we get to election, you ask me another question.
No, Chief, you were very confident in 2022.
And what happened?
So I'm asking you now, are you still...
No, I'm asking you, what happened now?
Are you there? I told he got 6-point-something million votes.
You don't want to recognize me, no problem. But God has
what sort of recognition do you want?
Recognize me that I made something and it came to pass. Recognize it.
So I'm asking you now, what's your prediction?
About what?
Peter Obi and the Labour Party going forward.
I cannot predict it because I don't know about tomorrow. Tomorrow belongs to God.
Well, you knew about tomorrow 2 years ago.
You asked me immediately.
2 years ago, I asked you a question.
As that election
was approaching. Before the election. And
remember
you
at
said,
that time. Remember?
What you said, Chief, was he had taken an oath or a vow, and as long as that exists, he will not be anything. He did not win the election, but he got at 6-point-something million votes.
And where are
the Labour Party under his leadership went on to win over 40 seats in the National Assembly, not to mention the seats at the state assembly levels, while your party probably got about 5 people at National Assembly and one in Anambra State. But then the Labour Party now has a governor. One. I mean, to win. And the Labour Party has gone on to get a governorship seat in Abia State. I mean, that is growth, isn't it? Do you still think that justifies amounting to nothing, as you said in 2022?
Okay. You're drawing comparison between APGA and Labour Party. That's where you're coming from.
Yes.
There's no need for comparison. Do you understand? Both parties have the right to aspire to lead this country. I don't have any problem about that. But I must tell you that APGA experience, what APGA had gone through, let Labour Party go through that and see if it will still exist. That's where I'm coming from. APGA had been embroiled in crisis since it was founded because of the activities of impostors. Labour Party just 2 years in existence and they're already wobbling. You understand me now?
You know, there are talks now about a possible merger. Labour Party, NNPP, PDP, and while you say that he cannot be anything, this could sound like prospective for him if this merger happens. And I don't know if your party is part of the merger talks, because there's almost like a consensus among political parties to unseat the All Progressives Congress.
Yeah, I can never be in the league of anybody trying to destroy another person. I cannot. You know, if the idea is to band together to destroy APC, I will not be a party to that. Do you understand? Because we have family members, friends who are in APC. So if you destroy APC, you destroy our friends and relations. What you should be talking about is that if people are coming together to build a better Nigeria, I will begin to listen to you now, but not to destroy anybody. Do you understand me now? So for me, APGA has not been consulted in the merger talks. We've never been consulted. I cannot comment on that until they now approach the leadership of APGA. Remember, I'm no longer the national chairman of APGA.
Yeah.
By the time they consult the leadership of APGA and the leadership agrees that APGA will join, they will not summon us. We're all followers. We'll join. Whatever the party decides, as a loyal party man, I will obey.
When we talk about the state of the nation, I don't know, some persons may wonder why you think that trying to take the APC out would be a bad idea.
You see, let me tell you something. All of us in Nigeria are suffering. When you remember that movie, The Rich Also Cries, this is everybody's crying. Because no matter how much you have, all of us go to the same market. And pressure will mount on you from those who have not to give. If you used to give 1 naira, and somebody comes to beg money, you have to increase it to 2 naira or 3 naira. So it's not even easy for anybody. Now, let me tell you the truth about what is. Nigerians are suffering. Okay? And the presidency is giving us hope that what the government is doing will benefit our people in the long run, in the long term. But as we speak, our people are dying. So it is important for Mr. President to take an immediate, drastic step to remedy this present situation.
But this hope that you talk about, do you buy it?
Hope.
The hope that you say the presidency is given, do you buy into it?
I mean, every human being must be hopeful. Without hope, we are dead.
But
without hope, we are dead.
But when you speak of hope, there must be something to show.
That's what I'm telling you.
Do you see anything on ground that should drive that hope?
The government has come up with a number of policies. Are you getting me? I'm a very realistic person. I'm not emotional. Government has come up with a number of policies, okay, that they hope, the same hope, will make life better for our people in the future.
So the government hopes?
Hope so as well. Everybody is hoping.
It's supposed to be concrete, shouldn't
it? It can't be concrete. Nobody
when government policies...
No, government is sure, but the people are not sure. Get it clearly. When on two divides. The government is sure. The president said it, that he cannot change the increase in price of PMS because he wants to make Nigeria better in the long run. So government is hopeful and confident. But the masses are not, because we are hungry.
As an opposition, what is your faith in the Tinubu administration?
Let me tell you something. I like giving people the benefit of the doubt. Shebi, the man came into office last year, 1 year, and we're all crying now. Let us hope that the next few months, things will begin to happen. My prayer is that one day Nigeria will become the Nigeria of our collective dream. That's my prayer. I'm 68 years old. I've never seen Nigeria in this kind of condition. The situation is dire. People are suffering. Okay? Now my prayer is to Mr. President to do something about it. You must cut down the cost of governance. It's not enough to reel out policies. You must follow up those policies with firm actions. Do you understand that? Number one, cut down the size of your cabinet. From 40-something to 20-something. Let me tell you, I remember when I was special advisor to the governor of Abia State. He dissolved his government. And people say, hey, how can the government function without commissioners, advisors, and the rest of it? Do you know, we ran the government for 6 months before a new cabinet was constituted. and everything was moving seamlessly. You don't need all these people, all this baggage to make Nigeria better. We're in the era of IT. The IT can do a whole lot of things. Some of these ministers of state, you don't need them. All these state, you don't need those people now. One person can do the job. What are the civil servants doing? The permanent secretaries and the rest of it. You don't need the ministers of state. They should go. Are you getting me? Now, look at these ministries. There was a report, the famous report, Orosanya report. Why not implement it? There's just Mohammed Wise report on political reforms. Why not do that? And get this nation moving once again. Do you understand? Let us bury our personal interests. Forget about ourselves and look at our people who are suffering and do something to remedy the situation. You know, I feel very, very sad. I don't even have peace of mind. Every day people call you for help, and people are suffering. We must do something for our people. Do you understand me now? People are suffering. We cannot go on this way. The president must show some concern, serious concern. Do you understand that? The legislators, the senators, everybody should come out and say no more to wastefulness. We have to cut down on wastes, not costs. If you cut down on costs, you compromise quality. You cut down on wastes. There's too much waste in this nation. Too much waste. Do you understand me now? Look at salaries of legislators. I don't know which one is correct. They come up with all conflicting figures every day. But they themselves know the truth. Why not make National Assembly or anything to office or part-time? You don't need any full thing. Because once you give somebody full time enough, they will begin to compete unfavorably. Do you understand me now? Begin to cut down one another to get to that office. We must do something fast. Look at PMS. Why should you increase the price of PMS? Something that we produce in Nigeria.
It's subsidy. Subsidy had to go.
What are we talking about? We must do something, my brother. Let me tell you, this country is big enough to take care of itself and its people. We cannot continue to grope in the dark. Every day the same story. Every day the same story. When is Nigeria going to be free? Tell me when. We have capable hands that can turn around this economy. Look at you as a person. The first day I encountered you, I saw you are a repository of knowledge. Do you understand me? Why can't they make you Minister of Information? Why not put round pegs in round holes for Nigeria to move forward? Why should we be playing all this backyard politics? I call it backyard politics because we are not sincere with ourselves. Do you understand? We must kill ethnicity. Why must I be a Yoruba man and Hausa man to get political positions in Nigeria? No, kill that and throw the thing open. Give positions to competent men and women and youth.
You know, now that you mentioned that, it draws my attention to the lopsided appointment allegations against this present administration. It's become a norm, hasn't it? Or do you think that president's on course? Has he appointed the right people, or are these just lopsided appointments?
I cannot say because I don't have the list, whether it is lopsided or not lopsided. Before you can say something concretely, you must have your facts. And I'm a journalist who said that facts are sacred. So I cannot begin to do hypothetical.
No, but you talk about round pegs and round holes.
That's what I'm telling you. We know those who are already there now. That's what I'm saying now. Some of them are not competent.
Yeah, we hear the president is trying to rejig his cabinet. He's already said that he will fire those who don't perform, and everyone.
The word shouldn't even be fire. Why are you firing them? After you hired them in the first place, why are you firing them? You ease them out. You use the word ease. It makes it not painful. But if you say fire, it becomes autocratic. You understand me? Use those kind soft words. Ease them out.
He who hires can fire.
No, you didn't hire them. Nigerians hired them.
No, he hired them.
We hired him, and he hired them on our behalf.
Exactly.
So don't say you're making the man look like a despot, and he's not a despot. Okay? So we hired President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We hired him as our beloved president. Okay? Now, whatever he's doing, he must do considering our own interests as his employers. He shouldn't act unilateral.
Maybe if opposition parties like yours could, put the fire under his seat, he'd probably...
We don't need to put fire under his seat because the fire will consume him. What we need to do is to approach him. Do you understand me? Because remember, President Tinubu is not there by himself. We put him there. We cannot destroy what we built. What we need to do is to aid him, guide him. Do you understand?
How much time do you think the president needs? Because you talked about 1 year being a short time, even though I recall that the former British Prime Minister Liz Truss, left office within 6 weeks because of some economic challenges that she had at the time, and it was enough for her to say, you know what, 6 weeks is enough for me to decide that I can't continue with this.
The problems of Nigeria cannot be solved in 6 months, one year self.
So do you think in this first 4 years of President Bola Tinubu that we would see the adjustments that he's promised?
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. You see, the thing is that we have put the man there for 4 years. Let's not forget about that.
But then I asked you earlier, what do you say? What are the policies? You've also complained about his policies, even though you say in the long run they will favor us. So what are these policies that give you the hope, that give and take in the next 2.5 years of his administration, that, Nigerians will begin to reap the fruits of putting him there? Remember that we've just come off an End Bad Governance protest, and there are concerns as to whether or not the presidency or the president has listened to the concerns raised by the End Bad Governance protesters, not to mention the concerns around the state governments as well.
The policies of the government, some of them are good, some are not good, okay? And I have to look at it holistically. That's why I said, since we have put him there, let us come together and guide him. He cannot do it alone. We must speak with one voice. That's where I'm coming from. If, changing Nigeria is not by violence. I believe in that. It's by collective reasoning, coming together as a people. Do you understand? I'm mounting pressure on the government through our elected leaders. Very important. What do you expect the president to do if the National Assembly is acquiescent to everything he says? It's a problem now. So the National Assembly is supposed to bring what we call checks and balances in government. So if you allow a leader to have absolute power, absolute control, he'll be corrupted absolutely. Remember, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. There must be checks and balances. Very important.
One other thing that a number of persons are raising concerns about, which they believe is also impacting on the living condition in the country, is the tax policies of this administration. What do you make of it?
No, the tax policies, they're trying to do, copy what is happening abroad. In Europe, for instance, even in America, you don't joke with taxes. How many Nigerians pay taxes? Yeah, they expect government to perform miracles. With what? Are you getting me? If every Nigerian should pay tax, no matter how little, the economy will be boosted. In England, everything is taxed, including the air you breathe. And people pay it happily.
And then they reap the benefits.
They reap the benefits because whatever is plowed back to make it life better for the people. But that's what is lacking here. That's what we are lacking in Nigeria.
In England that you mentioned, the environment is conducive enough for whether small businesses, medium-scale businesses. But we see in Nigeria that small businesses are almost out of business. And then, the struggle to survive. How do you explain the need to tax a person who earns 30,000 naira to ply a road that is not well developed, and then you hear the government's taking loans for certain infrastructure that don't, really manifest as much? How do you explain taxation to that kind of individual? Because taxing him a little more will make him poorer even more. So how is it supposed to survive under that condition?
Let me tell you, the reason Nigerians don't pay tax is because they don't have confidence in government.
In the government, exactly.
That's the reason. That's the main reason. And number two, they don't feel the impact of government. When I don't feel the impact, why should I pay tax? Okay? But if everything is working, there's light, there's security, there's water, health system is working. If you ask me to pay tax, I'll pay happily. And that's what happens abroad. They pay taxes voluntarily because their taxes are used to make life better for them. That is what this government will copy. Now, let me tell you something. You know, Nigeria can work. In Ikeja, for instance, I learned that in Alausa, for instance, there's 24 power supply. Somebody came back from London in August and told me that for 1 full month now, there's never been interruption of light in his house.
In Alausa?
Alausa Ikeja. I said, what is this? So he said, it's on band A. That is paying through the nose. I said, let me pay, but give me the light. Gradually, we'll get there. If we can fix electricity, we can also fix other infrastructure, decrepit infrastructure.
You know, let me quickly take you up on this, because while you say the policies of governments could have positive impact eventually, there are calls from really high quarters for the government to, reverse the price of PMS. There are also calls for the electricity tariff to be dropped, but you seem to be okay with it as long as it will give you constant power. What do you think about these calls for these reversals? Do you think that the president should oblige, or? No, you see, the increase was just impromptu. Government should learn to prepare the minds of people before taking decisions. You understand? You don't just wake up one morning and increase. You don't care how it will impact the people. That's why I quarrel with the government. Okay? Now, there may be need to you see that they're trying to compare Nigeria to other nations of the world. For instance, in England, which I know too sure, PMS is 144p, which is £1 44p. Convert it to Naira, it's about 2,000 something. You cannot compare Nigeria to UK. They are two different ball games. What we should be talking about in Nigeria, things that are peculiar to us. My people have a proverb: you cannot stay inside the river and the ladder of the soap enters your eyes. You have enough water to wash it away. Okay? Now, what the president should do is to ensure that he returns the pump price to what it was before now. He should hearken to the voice of the people. So that means reintroduce fuel subsidy.
Return to what it was now before the present increase. That's what I'm saying. Because it's adding salt to injury.
Well, what do you think was responsible for this increase?
I don't know them. They said they want to bring it at par with the global situation. How can you be telling me about that? Nigeria and the UK and the America, they're not the same.
Now, you talk about the UK a lot. Do you have a house in the UK?
No, I travel. That's where I like to go to.
But you don't have a house there?
Which house? Do I need any house in the UK when I'm in Nigeria? I love Nigeria.
I want to ask you a question just before we go. And because you're from the Southeast, I want to find out from you. We talk a lot about the federal and the need for the Tinubu administration to do so much, but sometimes we ignore the sub-nationals. So how's governance in the Southeast? How's governance, how's development in the Southeast?
I can only talk about my own state.
No, I mean, you could have some feelers across the state.
No, I don't feel anything. I feel from my state and where I am in Abuja. I don't poke nose in other people's wahala. I have enough problems on my hands.
But from your perspective, what do you think about the mood or the reaction of the people in the Southeast to governance in general? No,
the people of the feelings vary from one state to another. In Anambra, for instance, the people are happy that Soludo is doing well. Some may not agree. But I've been playing politics in Anambra State since 1979. I know what has been happening there. Immediately, the whole thing started with Ngige as a governor. Do you understand? PDP. He started building roads, solid roads. Peter Obi came after Ngige and raised the bar under APGA. Obiano came and raised the bar. Built International Conference Center, the best in Nigeria so far. It beat International Conference Center in Abuja. Built an international airport at Umueri. Okay?
So why is he being probed?
I don't know. The institutions that probe him should answer that question. But in terms of performance, the man performed above average. And Anambarians are happy. Now, Soludo came and put the icing on the cake. He has done 535 kilometers of roads in 2 years. There's one road that had been a problem to our people. Amansi, Tobo family road. That road had been in decrepit condition for over 30 years.
Our times are...
The Soludo came and they have done that road. And people are happy.
You know, we've run out of time, but I wish you could quickly answer the concerns around APGA growing. Is APGA really growing? Because many expect that by now, especially those who call it, refer to it as a regional party, they expected that by now, at least, take over the Southeast. What's going on with APGA?
APGA is doing better. APGA is alive and is growing every day.
Oh, you're losing seats,
We're not losing anything.
You are. You lost seats at the National Assembly.
PDP loses, APC loses, every party loses seats.
But they still keep numbers. Anyways,
we're doing well.
I'd like to thank you very
Inshallah,
much. Chief Victor Oye, thank you so much for coming on Political Paradigm.
Thank you.
I'll come to you again just before the 2027 elections to get that prediction.
God keeping us alive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Chief Victor Oye, his immediate past chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. If you'd like to catch this interview again, go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm Channels TV or go to channelstv.com. Thank you for your time. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.